Round 10 saw the F1 circus move to Hungary, where Sergio Davilo in his Mercedes struggled a lot in qualifying, with drivers such as Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton hitting their prime at a track that they enjoy very, very much. Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa and the Ferraris are starting to put their push forward, and cars such as the McLarens are easily trying to get into the top 3 now, as their car's performance has increased heavily since the start of the season. The grid lines up with Sergio Davilo in 5th, Mark Webber 4th, Alonso 3rd, Lewis Hamilton 2nd, and on par with Sebastian Vettel. We are here at the Hungaroring for what promises to be one of the most interesting and most dramatic Grand Prix on the calendar. I've driven it, I've edited it, and it is one of the best. It's fantastic. The drama, there's overtakes, there's everything that you want from an episode. So stay tuned for the whole entire thing, because it's from start to finish a fantastic episode. I thought Canada was good. I thought Silverstone was good. This is the creme de la creme. It's Monaco. I mean, there's been some fantastic races this season. This has been one of the best career mode seasons we've had so far, and just in general, stay tuned. There's a teammate challenge. We're dropping off. We're on 2. He's got 3, and the drivers' championship is very, very close at the moment, of course, as well. So we are here for what promises to be a fantastic Grand Prix. There is a high chance of rain, so Sergio has a strategy of going on from the options, pitting early on a set of primes, and then using them primes, getting the pace, and hopefully maybe pull away if he can get a good start. He starts in 5th position, as you saw in the pre-intro. And he's got some really difficult guys ahead of him. Behind him, he's got Kimi Raikkonen, a world champion, so he'll be wanting to get up there. So the top 6 is very deadly. Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, who's going to get the edge into turn 1? We are away, and we're about to find out. As you can see, Sergio gets off to an okay start, better than the Red Bull of Mark Webber alongside him, but overall a very good start compared to him. But then Kimi Raikkonen with a rocketing start and Webber pulling away. Sergio braking round the outside, almost gets clipped by the Ferrari of Fernando Alonso. Raikkonen up into 4th position and Sergio up into 3rd. So them two have joined each other and gone through the 2 cars ahead of Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso now. Going into turn 3, Sergio brakes later, round the outside of Sebastian Vettel. Will he hold it? Yes, Sebastian Vettel doesn't have the traction out the corner, and it's a Mercedes 1-2 lockout, skipping forward to lap 5. Sergio with a lock-up into the hairpin style corner. I don't know, it's the final, the penultimate corner. Going now, he's decided to go into the pits. He's pitting earlier than everyone else. They'd be pitting into lap 8. He's going for lap 5. It's a risky strategy, but it's a strategy he has to push and go for, because, as you can see on the minimap, Lewis Hamilton is pulling away quite frequently and by quite a long way in general. So Sergio coming into the pits now. What sort of lap time will he be setting? It is a 3.071, so it's not bad pit stop compared to what you normally get, which is about a 10th gained really. Still yet to get a sub 3-second pit stop. I don't think you can get it in this game. But going into turn 1, we don't get caught up by the Marussias and Caterhams of Jules Bianchi and Van der Garde. We're behind the pack, and there's Valtteri Bottas right ahead of us. So we're going to be looking, and I can tell you guys there is a lap coming. It'll be lap 7, and on lap 7, I'm just quickly looking. On lap 7, we got 4 overtakes, so good look forward lap. But first, we've got to get past Valtteri Bottas in a Williams, who is the only Williams to score points this season. Pastor Maldonado yet to score points up the inside of Valtteri Bottas, and nice move, easy done. And obviously he's not having the success he would have this season, but he's having a good season nonetheless. As we now come on to lap 7 now into turn 1. There's John-Eric Verne. That's overtake number 1 of 4. We get DRS though. Do we use it? Yes we do. We're using a bit of Kurz as well. It's a nice line. There's Pastor Maldonado in 15th, P15. We look for the inside, we then get the outside, giving us better traction out the corner now. We get a better run, obviously being in a Mercedes power engine. We're going to have a lot more of an aggressive car compared to him. We're now going side by side. Pastor Maldonado squeezes us, doesn't give us any room, and we get past him, but we run off all 4 wheels off the track. Do we have to get the position back? The stewards say no. Pastor Maldonado did squeeze us off, so we don't have to give in anything there. So it's kind of justice for Maldonado not giving us enough room now. Going into the chicane, the heavy corner with the sausage curbs, we're now going to try and get around Paul di Resta now. He's right there around the outside, got better traction than him on these fresher tyres, run a little bit wide, side by side still. Good battle with the Force India, but Sergio Davilo looks to be coming off as we go in full speed, and he's now up into P14. Now coming up to the final overtake of the lap, there's Adrian Sutil. A little bit of a nudge there as Sutil goes a little bit deep and it gets a little bit of understeer there, but Sergio Davilo now up into P13. Next up for him is Esteban Gutierrez. That's 4 overtakes, 1 lap. Here comes overtake number 5, who runs a little bit wide after getting a bit on the curb, and it's not an auto spin, but it's just pushed him off the track. He couldn't do anything about it, using DRS now, and a little dropping of curves, breaks up very early, and there's Esteban Gutierrez. Done next is the new Red Bull Racing driver of Daniel Ricciardo in the Toro Rosso. Can he get anything? He's got DRS, he's going to have to brake a lot later than him. He goes into standard fuel mixture now, looking for a move around the outside, gets contact with Daniel Ricciardo. He was expecting him to carry a bit more speed than that Sergio, and he was hoping maybe he would have got out of the way and he would have got the undercut, but he couldn't. But he still gets a better run out of this turn now. Can he get the move done? He can get Maldonado. He gets it done a lot earlier than the actual turn itself now. So Sergio up into P11. Next up, Jenson Button. So Sergio now, and you can see actually the cars are coming into the pits as we go on to lap 9. They pitted on lap 8, so Sergio's 3 laps earlier. This was all part of the plan to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton. As we go into the corner, can he get past Lewis Hamilton, the race leader? This is for the lead of the Grand Prix, effectively. And Sergio has taken the lead of the Grand Prix off Lewis Hamilton. A strategy has worked. He gained 6 seconds through that, and it's fantastic. Imagine if he didn't have the traffic, Sergio would have had some absolute blinding times and would have pulled away a lot more than he did. A lot more than he actually did. He cut it very, very close. On lap 10, only a lap later, you can see the rain is absolutely tipping it down, and Sergio decides to come into the pits. Lewis Hamilton, being behind him, has to go 1 lap extra on them option tyres. Will Sergio be a bit earlier? I think the rest of the grid's actually staying out along with Lewis Hamilton, so Sergio might be early, but he wants to get on them intermediate tyres, get the undercut, and I think it's time for intermediate tyres, if I'm honest. You can see a 3.75, so solid pit stop from Mercedes guys. They know that Sergio is on a championship hunt now. It's a championship battle. Will he get it though? It's a lot tighter than last season, I'd say, but going into the first corner, there's Sergio Perez, and he's down in P11, but we come forward to lap 15. You can just check Sergio. We're looking at the race director, and they're all hitting onto wet tyres, and Sergio decides also, but he brakes very late, gets a lock-up. It's not what he wanted, and Lewis Hamilton moves into P1, and he goes into first into the Grand Prix, meaning he'll get ahead of Sergio Davilo into the pit stops, and Sergio, the pit stop he desperately wanted to be ahead of, he's now having to go in behind his teammate. He's going to lose a dramatic amount of time. This is not what the Sergio Davilo was hoping for. He will be praying he doesn't lose as much as he would have as any other driver, but you know he's gonna have to be he's gonna have to pile up, and you can see he's just waiting. It's horrible for the driver. They're gonna have to switch tyres. The Jackman's gonna have to get out of the way. Sergio now finally gets into the pits. It's not what he wanted. What sort of pit stop time? It's not going to be a good one. It's up there, and it's not what he wanted. A 5.647. This is not good. And Sergio comes out behind Felipe Massa and Lewis Hamilton. All that time, all that effort he put in to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton has now just been ruined by one simple lockup. I don't understand. I think the game should make it so AI cars lock up, because Sergio Davilo there, I mean, he locked up, but I mean Lewis Hamilton probably would do it as well. But lap 26, into the pits we come again. Not much going on, and Sergio, for some reason, doing a 7.7 second pit stop. That's a little bit strange, but you know, I don't think that was it. It was probably about a 3.1, 3.2 from what I could establish. But we're out of the pits ahead of everyone, and we're losing to Felipe Massa. So now we're battling for a podium in a race. Really, I didn't expect Sergio to be up there, especially being one of the least favourite tracks. A podium would be absolutely fantastic. A race win would have been unbelievable. But we go into turn 1, and Mark Webber cannot. We get past Mark Webber around the outside now, and there's Mark Webber on lap 29, looking for a move. We're going to hold the outside line, get a bit of a lock-up, giving Mark Webber the space he wants. But whoever gets better traction, Mark Webber tucks in behind us now. Doesn't have the aid of DRS, and we're just going to keep ahead of him. On lap 30, Mark Webber going up the inside once more. Sergio Davilo holding the outside line. He brakes nicely this time, gets another minor lock-up, and Mark Webber can't get the inside line. And Sergio Davilo back into third position now, and it seems to be a very, very consistent thing. Mark Webber can't get past the Mercedes driver of Sergio Davilo now on lap 31. There's Max Chilton ahead as Sergio we go into the chicane. He locks his front tyres up, and he cannot do anything about it. His brakes are very, very cold. He hasn't got the temperature. Nobody's doing as well. There's a lot of drivers that have gone straight on through there. Max Chilton slowing down, we're in a slow car. Obviously doesn't have to slow down as much. On lap 32, Mark Webber going around the outside now. He's mixing up the strategy. Sergio brakes earlier to get the run through, and Mark Webber can't get ahead of him, looking for the undercut, but Sergio Davilo holds it. He gets a little bit of a back end flap, and his back end just goes out, and he holds the position. On lap 34, there's Charles Pic, and Mark Webber's all over the back of him. You can see where Lewis Hamilton is. He's going to be starting the second sector soon, and they're still in it. We're going out now, and Sergio coming through, and he gets past Charles Pic after going a little bit wide and having a bit of a back end flip out. On lap 35 now, the final lap, we're coming through. You can see Guido van der Garde is ahead of him, along with Jules Bianchi. There goes van der Garde. Sergio, a near miss with some contact there, because that was full speed. If van der Garde had moved slightly to the right, Sergio would have been just rubble. And there you can see Jules Bianchi, but Sergio, a 1.3 second gap to Mark Webber. He'll be surprised if Webber can get past him now. He's had his opportunities, but Sergio Davilo with backhand wheel spin doesn't want to lose it now. A podium would be absolutely amazing. You can see now his personal fastest time is a 1 minute 25, and we hit that before we've even gone past the final corner. But Sergio Davilo now coming up to cross the line in a solid third position, a position I wouldn't have expected him to get at the start of this start of the Grand Prix, going qualifying with a really poor qualifying. Never in a million years did I think he would get up into third position. It's another podium for the Mercedes, but the driver, the Brazilian. It's a British-Brazilian podium, a Mercedes dominant podium. There'll be 3 Mercedes men on that podium, and what a Grand Prix it was. Other drivers, Jenson Button got 10th, Fernando Alonso in 9th, and Mark Webber 4th, with Sergio and Lewis Hamilton the boost in the championship. And you can see now it's a 42-point gap from Sergio Davilo to Mark Webber, and Lewis Hamilton only 33 from Mark Webber. So we've got a chance. We could have a crowning of a brand new world champion in Mark Webber or Sergio Davilo, or we could have a second-time world champion in Lewis Hamilton, or a 5-time world champion in Sebastian Vettel. So at this point, guys, I'd like to say thank you for watching. My name is OTG. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, smash that like button below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Davilo's Journey Week. Goodbye.